Alright everyone, now we have to talk about some more propaganda. You can see it on Twitter if you look up Moorecounty right now. You're seeing a lot of leftoid takes from Dash and Brooklyn Dad, Jeff, and all of the other assorted morons on the site who are literally famous for being famous on Twitter. Oh boy, what a long-lasting and stable career trajectory when you're best known for hot takes on Twitter of all places. That may be meaningful in the future, but right now it's basically the internet is serious business mode a la 2008. Power outage, Moorecounty. It involves numerous substations. Apparently a pair of individuals drove up to the transformers and started opening fire on them, knocking out power to, at last count, over 100,000 people in this general area within the Carolinas. It is a terrorist attack, to be clear. This is something that's been warned of, literally for decades, by numerous individuals. I think I had a video in which I mentioned it, I think a decade ago, that we needed to start decentralizing and fortifying the electrical system in the country. Not just because of this, but because of the possibility of like another Carrington event. Imagine if this happened all around the entire world effectively at the same time. It would fry every economy. You think that the lockdown-based shipping problems and supply chain issues that have wreaked havoc for now more than a year are bad? Wait till the entire power grid goes down and you don't have the supplies necessarily for months and months to repair everything. You have to prioritize. Well, you know, this area over here is a military base. That's important. But there's a big hospital over there for cancer kids, and that's important too. Oh, and then there's 500,000 fucking people living in that valley over there. Well, priorities. We can only fix them one at a time because we don't have enough line crews or enough spare transformers lying around that weren't just fried. So, well, shit. Let's roll a die here. I'll use a random number generator to decide who gets power first. Cancer kids, soldiers, or the vast bulk of the population. Yeah, we'll delegate that to an independent committee. In a couple of weeks, they'll have an answer for us of who should get it first. By the way, this is how it would work under such a... It's not the 19th century anymore when people as a community would simply get together and start clearing the rubble in the wake of an earthquake. Now you have to have people delegated to do that. They're not allowed to do it themselves, hence our inefficiency issues. I saw a video, by the way, and this is tangentially related. It was posted. It was about the Dutch. They created a highway underpass in like a single weekend, and it shows the entire time lapse of the process. That's because of less regulation. The Dutch do it better when it comes to that. Supposedly they're socialistic, but that's not the feeling that I personally have, having lived in the Netherlands for an extended period. It's far less bureaucratic than in the United States. That's unfortunately changing, but right now they have an advantage. Should go back to that particular model. Fucking do it yourself. Don't ask permission. Link in the description, archived of course. Effectively right now, the sheriff's office and the FBI and other groups that are now involved don't have any answers as to who done it. We do not know who fired on the transformers. Unfortunately, since they're still at large, they could very well do it again. They're clearly off their rocker. They're getting investigated by the FBI. If these people are ID'd, they're looking at 20, 30 years in prison probably minimum, plus the possibility of class action civil suits on top of that. You know, again, the power goes out and the generator goes down at the hospital and all the babies on respirators start suffocating. They could be held liable for that because they caused the situation to happen in the first place. These are individuals that are clearly, they have nothing to lose or they're ideologically warped in some major fashion. What do I see from the leftoids on Twitter? Well, there was a drag show happening around that time, and so clearly this is linked to the power outages. Oh, really, asshole? Number one, prove it. Number two, why did they attack several substations? Why didn't they just attack the one that would have led to a localized power outage at the fucking drag show? Why did they go from station to station shooting things up? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Why would people there supposedly, I guess the idea is that they're MAGA religious nuts or something. Why would they deprive power from 100,000 people to stop a drag show when they could simply hit the local transformer there? Just do a drive-by. Yeah, it takes out a couple blocks or something like that. They didn't think to, I guess. Because they're MAGA. They're mentally damaged beyond the capability of reason. I guess that's the idea. The police don't have any leads. They have footage of the vehicle and the individuals, but they don't have an ID on any suspects. They may or may not ever find out who did it, to be clear. This could be some sort of glowing one-off anyway. Maybe some Antifa members did this, in which case it won't be labeled terrorism. They were just frustrated at the system. They didn't get their fucking tendies at night. Mama deprived them of their Oculus. Mommy wouldn't give them a new gaming laptop for their birthday. Yeah, something like that's equally likely. We've gotten to the point where any time that there's a significant crime, you can expect that the leftoids will try to project their own, grandiose visions of violence off on the evil MAGA people and assume, like, let's say you knock out power to 100,000 people, and you knock out power to a large town, small city. And there's one pocket in that city that's densely populated by people of Nigerian heritage or something, an immigrant community from India. Clearly that's the reason. Everything else is coincidental. Yeah, there's 100,000 other people here, but clearly it was these couple of blocks that were specifically being targeted. We see this over and over again in mass shootings too. Mass shooting occurs. You don't have a suspect ID'd yet. It was obviously MAGA. It was obviously white supremacy. Even if the individual turns out to be a complete psychopath far leftist, like with the Christmas parade massacre or anything else with Waukesha. Anytime that a violent event occurs, or a terroristic event, which, I mean, this clearly is, you've massively damaged the power grid for literally over 100,000 people. I would class that as a terroristic act. Obviously, it had to do with the drag show. That one thing happening in that general region at that general time is the only reason why this occurred. I have a feeling that when it comes out who these people are, again, if they ever successfully ID them, that won't be the case. But it's good for clout building on Twitter, which is why they're posting it. Evil MAGAs, they attacked the power grid in a terroristic fashion, just like Al-Qaeda or ISIS, in order to stop the drag show. Why jump to that conclusion? Maybe they had if you were going to look at individual events, I'm sure there were other things happening there at this time. Well, they don't like Christmas. They hated the Christmas lights. They wanted to knock them out. They're vegans, and there are farms in the area. They wanted those farms not to have electricity because they hate farmers. They're afraid of for all the cows' safety or something like that. They hate school. They felt as children they didn't get enough toys. So they said, well, there's schools in their area. Hey Floyd, let's go knock out the power. Haha, the kids don't got to go to school no more, which is apparently happening. They don't have any power. There is literally no evidence of any kind of any motive. It could be literally anything. It could have been Antifa. Hey, fuck the electrical grid, evil imperialist America. What we need to do is we need to have a better system for power distribution. I've argued for decentralizing the grid now for years. What we should be doing is communities should be, in general, generating enough of their own power to at least exist on brownout mode for extended periods. We need to harden the grid. Apparently, we need to defend the substations more. At the very least, monitor things more. You always see security footage. It's always in like 360p or something like that. So we can get 4K scans of goddamn Pluto, and you're telling me that we can't have better security, like surveillance cameras set up or something like that? Dude, just aim a webcam at it. This fucking webcam would give a better picture probably than what they were using. No, we couldn't ID the bank robbery suspect because here's a picture of their face and it looks like a pile of Lego bricks. Very, very interesting how technology refuses to advance in certain cases. That's about all. Peace out.